Very briefly, my name is Stephen Hughes. You can call me Stephen, Mr. Stephen, if you prefer. Okay. And I'm here to talk a bit about English. Let's discuss English, discuss life. I'm so happy to see so many students, right? I'm originally from a country called Trinidad and Tobago. I'm going to write it in the chat for you. And you can Google, you can do a quick search on this country. That's 2 islands, but one country located in the Caribbean. And what is nice, what I love about being able to talk to Mr. Krishna, Hare Krishna, and you, your students, is the fact that in Trinidad, we have a very big Indian population, right? About 43% of the population is of Indian descent. We have many Indians who came, maybe your great-grandparents or people from that time left India to come to Trinidad, to Tobago, to Trinidad specifically, to Guyana, to work. And many of them stayed and they created communities. So we have many communities there, right? So yeah, today, oh, just a minute. Let me just make a quick pause. I have to talk to a student. 10 seconds, just a second. My screen now. All right. And your teacher, Mr. Harry, was asking me to maybe show you something related to what we call the passive voice. Okay, so I wanted to start by talking about this, the news. What's in the news? Okay, and I thought I could share with you something from your reality, something that happens with your news, right? So I went online and I looked for a newspaper there to find something about the news. What you have to do, you have to help me. So in the chat, you can maybe tell me about the story because I saw it in, is it Telugu? How do you pronounce the language? Telugu.
It's
yes.
Telugu.
Telugu. Okay, sorry. So it's in Telugu. So for example, this, I have no idea what this is. I see 2 children celebrating, right? They are happy. So apparently it has to do with an exam.
Yes.
Results, right? I see their results. So in the chat, tell me, what is this story about? You can tell me in the chat. You can use the chat, right in the chat there, right? You put the message. Oh, sorry, go back here. Sorry. So in the chat, you can tell me what is going on. What is this about? What is the story? See? So what's the story here?
Turn your camera on.
Jagadish, hi, how are you? Turn on this camera.
So what is in the news? Can you read?
Yes, sir.
What is in the news?
ఉమ్మడి విద్యాలయాల ప్రవేశ పరీక్ష CUET UG విడుదల జాతీయ పరీక్ష మండలి ASTP విడుదల
Explain in English. Yes.
It's about a test, right?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Okay. So they are very happy. They got good grades. They got good marks. Yeah, they have 10 students. Yeah, maybe a 10 or an A+. I don't know. All right. Now, let me show you another story. Let's see if I can show you another story. Let's see. What about this one? This is, I think this is the lady's name, correct? Kodali.
It's not lady name. I think he's a politician. She's a
politician.
He's a politician. He's a politician.
Kodali Nadi is a politician. Okay, great. Right. So the story, it's another story, right? We have two stories.
Hmm.
So I saw these two stories in Telugu, right? And I
Yeah.
said, okay, what if I try and see it in English? In English, this is what they told me. Look at what I saw in English. So in English, we see that the results of an exam were released. The results are out, they were released, right? We have the results of the Common University Entrance Test have been released. Whoa. My question then, let me write here, is, right, who released the results? Do we know?
Students try to respond. Who released the results?
National Testing Authority.
The National Testing Authority. Congratulations. Ding, 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 ding. Very good, my friend. So we know that the National Testing Authority released the results. Good. Excellent. Very, very good. Good stuff. Let me take your, let's see if I can find it here. As you said, the National Testing Authority, NTA. Yep. Good. Fabulous. So we know that somebody did it, but the results were released by the National Testing Authority. Okay. It's interesting. So I can write like this. I can say the National Testing Authority released results. Correct? I can also say the results were released by the NTA. It's the same information. The information is the same, but the sequence is different. We have a different sequence in the sentence. So we have NTA, we have results, but look what happens. The NTA, it's moving around, right? So the NTA is here, and the NTA is also here. The results, where are the results? The results are there too, but they change position. Results was here, and now the results are here. So we change the position. The information is still the same, but I can say I did this, or this was done by me, by somebody. That's one example. All right. Let me show you the other example. Let's see the other examples, right? Let's see. Look what happened here now. Let's see if I can erase this. Clear. And look what happens here now. It says the MLA's PA is being harassed. Harass is it's a kind of a word like a provocation, somebody who's being provoked, or you know, they bother them all the time, pester. See, so somebody is harassing the PA, you see, the volunteer. She is, look down here again, look at the example. Let's see, this time she was being harassed. Somebody was harassing, somebody was, you know, bothering her, or not provoking, but making her life very unhappy. Yeah, when you harass somebody, let me show you. So when I harass, make life unhappy, pester, That's the idea. Okay, very, very irritating. Do you know the word irritate? So that's the idea. All right. So you have an example there. Good. So now let's see some more, but this time you have a different story. Let me show you a different story now. Look at here. Such story not from India, but around the world. This time in Tokyo. Yes. And it says that the temperature near Tokyo was over 40 degrees for the first time in June. Yep. Record 40.2 degrees in the city north of Tokyo. People are using air conditioners. This is making it difficult for power companies to produce electricity. Japanese government has asked people to use less electricity. We asked the public to reduce energy consumption during the early evening hours. It wants people to turn off lights from 3 to 6 p.m. Okay. The Japanese heat wave will continue. The rainy season just finished. It's the earliest since records began in 1851. This means there'll be a long, hot summer. The government said, please cooperate and save as much power as possible. A power company warned that there could be power shortages, meaning no electricity, okay? There's also a risk of people getting heat stroke. When you have a lot of heat and you feel, terrible because of the heat, and very hot. What's the temperature in where you are in India? What is the temperature, normal temperature for you?
Normal temperature between 30 something around 25 to 30, and in summer 40 to 50.
Oh, okay. Well, I live in Rio de Janeiro, all right? I'm from Trinidad, but I live in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, okay? And in Rio de Janeiro, we have temperatures of up to 40 degrees Celsius in the summer. So in December, January, February, we have that temperature, 40 degrees, 42 degrees, very, very hot, very hot, very hot weather. In some parts of Brazil today, we have a lot of forest fires, okay? So lots of fires because of the heat. So it's there. So look at what we have, the last sentence. More than, it says here, let me see if I can show you. More than, here, see, more than 250 people in Japan were taken to hospital in Tokyo over the weekend with heat stroke because they were feeling very sick. So more than 250 people. So who took those people to the hospital? We don't know. We don't know, right? But look at what it says there. So pay attention to that, right? If you see here. So 250 people were taken. Somebody took these people to the hospital. So this is an example of what we call, so more than 250 people were taken to the hospital. And that's the sentence. Okay, so I have up here, let's see if I can give it to you there. And let me see if I can draw. Right, good. Were taken, somebody took them. I have this verb, there are two verbs in English. So the first one, let me show you. Here, see, is the verb. In the past, right? So in the simple past, I was, you were, he was, we were. So were because in the past. And here, this word taken, look here. Taken, what's that? It's a verb too, right? But this is what we call the past participle of the verb. So I have take, I take something, the past took and taken. So in English, when we talk about this idea, what we call the passive voice, we want to talk about something, but it's important to say what happened, not who. I don't want to say who is telling me what happens, because in this sentence, I don't know who did the action. All right, but I can do it like this. I can say many people were taken to the hospital by their relatives. Maybe, right? I could do that. Let's put here. The hospital by their relatives. Relatives, family. Okay, so I can put here family members. So look at that. So I use this when I want to put the information, what happened at the beginning. Oh, this happened, but this was taken by something, or this was done. So this is an example here. All right, good one. Let's see if I can give you another quick example here. Let's save this. All right, and let me remove the drawings, everything. Okay, and if they have any questions, Harry, you can ask them. They can maybe send you questions after. Okay, if you don't have questions now, you can talk to sir about the lesson after, right? And if you have any questions about that, so we can discuss. That's important. Okay, let's see another example here. This one talks about rockets. Okay, imagine a rocket hitting your head. Can you imagine that? Can you? Look here, it says here, a rocket. Rocket, they're falling, right? India has a space program, correct? Yes, imagine you have a rocket going to space and all of a sudden the rocket is, you're walking down the street and bang, rocket hits your head. That's, yeah, crazy, right? But there is a chance, they say. Look at it, says here, scientists say that in the next 10 years, a part of a rocket could fall from space and kill someone. Space is becoming crowded with junk. So junk is, you know, pieces of metal, things that you don't want anymore, old things, you use their junk. So there is more and more, you know, junk in space. Can you imagine that? All right. So what they're doing, they want companies to be more responsible and to control how space junk re-enters. Okay, because the junk re-enters the atmosphere. This is the bad thing. All right. Most important is down here. Look what it says here. Most rockets are launched from the north of the planet, all right? But the problem is the space junk could hit somebody in the south. So we have to be careful. So rockets are launched. The companies have to be careful when they launch the rockets. So this is another example. All right, cool. So let me show now, you have a project and Mr. Harry, you can do with them this project you could do with them. I'm just suggesting for them to practice. So if, for example, let me get here, remove all the clear all drawings. If you go to here, look, the newspaper. Yes. Does this look familiar? You find a story here on the newspaper and the headlines, what we call the headlines. You're going to look for the headlines of those newspapers, right? headlines is usually the main topic of a story when you read it, right? So the headlines. And if you, in the headlines, you want to find examples. Examples of sentences with the construction. Oh, just a minute. Yeah. Okay, okay, no problem. Just that, okay. Yeah, so with, I'll be right with you guys. So with what we have a sentence like this, right, where we see the verb to be plus. So Mr. Harry will teach you guys the differences between past and past participle. Maybe you can teach them this, right? Maybe to get examples here from the newspaper. All right. So this is a quick to help you practice, find examples there. Good. Next thing, I'm going to go. Let's see if I can change now. Hold on. New share. But this time, I'm going to share with you an online activity. Okay, before we go, hold on. Let's see if I can find it. Oops. Yeah. Oh, here we go. All right, so I'm going to show one more activity, and it's going to be right here. So look at this. Okay, so this is to help us understand the examples I gave you. It says the English sentence, right, is written in the active voice where the subject performs the action. John sold a house. In a passive sentence, the object of the verb is moved to beginning. So the house was sold by John. So now I just changed the order. Say I invert. All right. I do like that. Let's go. Let's see another. Oops, hold on. I think my mouse just got crazy here. Ah, okay, it's still loading. Let me reload the page. All right, let me change again. Just a second. Am I going too fast, Mr. Harry? What do you think? Is it okay for everybody?
Oh, everybody know. Everybody are comfortable with you.
Ah, okay, good, good. So now look here, part 2. John carried out the action. It says carry. John did the action, okay? But we use in a passive sentence, we use by. We can use by to show. So John sold a house. The house was sold by John. I can do also, can sometimes remove. So I can do like this. The house was, oh, sorry, I can say like this, right? I can do like this. The house was sold. If I don't think it's important to say John did it, I can say the house was sold. I don't care if it's John, but I can say, oh, the house was sold by John. All right. So these are 2 ways of doing that. Very good. Let's go to another one. Oops. Participle. As I mentioned before, see this word we call the past participle. Go, went, gone. So I have to look at these examples, and maybe your teacher, Mr. Hardy, can give you a list of verbs, right? Irregular verbs. And we have regular verbs and irregular verbs in English. And the irregular verbs have different forms. Like here, sell, sold. This is an irregular verb. Okay, so the house was sold. The song will be played. The food has been eaten. The toys are made in Japan. All right. Great. So let's see if I can stop sharing now. Hold on. Up and then go back.
Yeah, it's a fantastic presentation. And
Okay.
Yeah, you did a wonderful job of familiarizing my students with the concepts from my native language to English. So,
Okay, you want to work with simple present,
yes,
simple
please.
past, and
Yes,
simple
yes,
and the future, right?
yes,
So we
please.
can go over it. Oh, great. So if I we can do that, right? So for example, I can say like this: coffee is made in Brazil. It's one of the leading countries where coffee is produced, right? In Brazil, right? So this is an example in simple present. Coffee is made in Brazil. Brazil makes one of the best coffees in the world, apparently. Yeah. That's what they say. All right. Another example. Let's see here now. Oops, let me change. So now I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to change to different color. All right. And tea was originally produced where? In China or in India? Good question, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, in India or in China?
Go for
maybe-
India.
Yes, let's go for India because yes, India. Let's go for India. So originally was produced, yeah, found in India originally. Yeah, great. So this is simple. The past was originally produced, and in the future now, let's go for the future. All right, the future. Let's go for the future. So we're gonna have internet, or what we can say, maybe internet companies, yes, will be available, will be sorry, made available to the whole population in 2050. Let's say, right? So this is the future. So we have an example of the future now, right? So I have there present, past, future, and all of them talking about something that's happening, but somebody produces, somebody makes it, somebody will make it happen. I don't know who. For example, coffee is made in Brazil. Who makes coffee? Many people. Yeah, many producers. Yeah, many companies. Tea was produced in India. Who produced it? Somebody one day decided to, not decided, but discovered the plant, and then they made tea. Yeah, chai latte. I love chai latte. I love it. I love the chai, Indian chai. It's very good. I drink it in the morning. And internet will be made available. Who will make this available? Some wonderful multi-millionaire with a lot of money will give everybody internet access one day in 2050, in the future. I hope. Okay. So these are some examples. Okay. Yeah, let's see if they can give me an example in the present, in the past, and in the future. What do you think?
Yes, definitely. So
Okay.
I ask one of my students, they give you one example and they give you the stepwise changes. So
Okay, great. Let's
Nagalakshmi,
go.
I would like to start with you.
Okay, go ahead.
Nagalakshmi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you give one simple present example, change it into passive voice, and explain to us the stepwise changes. Any example you can give.
She likes coffee.
She likes coffee. Good.
Okay, and now you stepwise explain the changes that you want to make. So
The object of active voice is made subject of passive voice. Coffee. Appropriate B form is to be used as mentioned below.
Okay.
Is
Okay.
the past participle of the verb is used. Liked. Generally, the preposition by is used. By. The subject of active voice is made object of passive voice. Her.
Okay. Can you explain the complete sentence?
Coffee is liked by her.
Good. Nice. I like that. Hold on.
Okay.
So let's write it here. Coffee liked by her. Okay.
Okay. Next, Lohita. Lohita, are you there? Okay. Give one simple past example and change it into passive voice.
So simple past.
Yes, simple past example, change it into passive voice.
Okay, sir. I watched a movie.
Okay.
Rule 1. The object of active voice is made subject of passive voice. A movie.
A movie. Yeah. Oops, sorry. A movie.
Second rule. Appropriate B form is to be used.
Was.
The past participle of the verb is used. Watched.
Watched. Okay.
Generally, the preposition by is used. By.
By. Good. Last one.
The subject of active voice is made object of passive voice. Me.
Me. Good. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you like the movie?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay,
Fantastic.
Bhagyasri, it's your turn now. Would like to give one simple future example and try to change it into passive voice.
Yes, sir. She will play tennis.
By.
The subject of active voice is made object of passive voice. Her.
Right. Oh, congratulations. Have a good day.
Thank you so much for being with us because you spared your valuable time. I know that your time is so precious. So thank you so much for sparing your valuable time. And I would like to take feedback from one of my students. Lohita, would you like to give a little feedback on this today's session in your own words?
I learned so much about the voice topic because I am not able to translate any sentence in passive voice. Today I learned so much how to translate them, and I also learned about how to search the word passive voice in the newspapers.